Probably around 6:45 right now on the 18th day of May 2019. Calvin Castine with Judy Castine also here at the Old Base Oval. And they told me they were expecting a huge crowd, and they sure have one today. A lot more folks have caught on to the idea of the North Country Honor Flight, and they're here showing their respect to the veterans who will be making their trip to Washington, D.C. today to visit the war monuments, the military monuments in our nation's capital. About 5:42 this morning, I was glancing out my kitchen window and saw a police car go by with the lights flashing, no siren, and followed by a whole bunch of motorcycles, and it was the telltale sign of an honor guard wandering by. We have the newest son of the American Legion here, Gary. Whole lot of folks everywhere you look, all here for one purpose. Looks like they're putting the veterans under this tent here. There'll be a ceremony here, then the mad scramble for the airport. And looking at the names on the chairs here, I found out why that escort was driving by my place this morning at 5:42. They picked up Mr. David Blix, who lives about a mile and a half down the road from me. So he is among the honorees, and so is Myron Dagenhart. You may have seen Myron before. He did the virtual tour, and about a year and a half ago they had a virtual tour at Beekmantown where they used the 3D glasses, and he decided that he did want to take part in the actual honor flight. So that's good to see Myron Zeke Dagenhart going. There's the flight leader today, Mike Cashman, with the past flight leader, and we got a fellow here who is going along for the ride today. What's your name?
Larry Ebert.
Larry Ebert.
Yes.
I think I saw you a couple of weeks ago up at JZ Central Rural School putting on a show.
Yes, you did. Yeah.
Highly successful one.
Yes, it was very successful. We raised quite a bit of funds for the honor flight to send these veterans to Washington, D.C. Yep.
Now, at the time you were saying it was the first annual. Are you still thinking that way? I know you put a heck of a lot of work into that.
It was the first annual. Actually, we're planning another one right now as we speak for next year. I think next year is going to be in May. We're thinking about the 3rd of May, maybe a Sunday afternoon from 1 to 4 or something like that, so we can get more veterans that come. I know last time we had it close to Easter, so we're going to try to get it away from a holiday and more in the midday, so people that don't like to drive at night after dark can come to the event and stuff like that. So yeah, we're planning another one. What we're going to do for a guitar next year, I'm not sure. That's still in the planning stages, but I'll let you know as soon as we find out what we're going to do.
All right. Well, I hope you have a good time today in Washington.
Yes, this should be a great day.
You see Don? Say hello to him, Don Trump.
Yeah. Well, if we were, I'd be lucky if we run into him, but I will mention your name.
Okay, good. Heck of a turnout. I'm sure you've been to one or two of these before, and it's probably the hugest crowd I've seen at one of these.
It is. I guess we used to have it indoors over at the Oval, yeah. But I think we have totally overgrown that place. So for the next flight, I don't know what we're going to do. Let's pray for good weather, I guess, right?
Yeah, well, they had them outdoors for a while, and it just got cold days, so they moved them indoors whenever possible. So today we're right on that limit because it's right around 50 degrees, and so we're right on the limit there where it's not uncomfortable, but it's cool.
No, exactly. Yeah.
All right, Larry, have a good time.
All right, Calvin. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and thank you for all you do. Larry Ebert he and his son made a guitar that they raffled off, and the funds went to the honor flight. And there's Delore Duquette, one of the previous trip goers, and here's that guy that caused those police cars and those bikers to go zipping by my house this morning. What's your name?
David Blix.
And tell us when you were in there, Dave.
In
military.
1968 I joined.
68?
4th of May, 1968.
4th of May, not that you kept track of the day or anything.
No.
And how long were you in?
24 years.
24 years? So you retired? What, were you in the reserve after or what?
In the reserves after.
Okay, did you join the reserves? What?
I joined the reserves, and then I got activated after that. And then after I came back, and that's when I decided to retire.
Okay. So, and this is, who is this person here? This is
My wife, Ella.
Hi,
You're the escort?
I'm the escort today.
All right.
Yeah.
You're going to push him all around
Oh, I
Washington,
hope he's
DC?
lightweight, Calvin.
You're going to give me a ride of my life today.
Yes.
There's no hills there, so I'm going to push him down a hill.
That's
I know
great.
you wouldn't push him up a hill, but you might push him down.
Yeah.
But no.
Yeah, we should have a good day. The weather's supposed to be nice.
Yeah, and it's not too bad out this morning.
No.
A little cool, but
Yeah.
it's supposed to be nice and warm down there.
All right, well, have yourself a good time,
Thank you.
and thanks for your service.
Thank you, sir.
All right. So David Blix and his wife Ella. And all the people lining up are here. See Ricky Jenkins went a few years back. Everywhere you look, you see a lot of these honor flight jackets, and everybody's a comrade when you come here. A lot of the veterans organizations are here as usual. Friends from Post 912, we always run into them out of Rouse's Point. All right, we're always looking to talk to honor flight veterans here. You want your name, sir?
Ray Newell.
And you went when?
I went last October.
Last October. That was probably one of the last flights last year.
Yes, last flight last year. Yeah,
All right.
really had an awesome day.
Okay, it says Korean War veteran.
Korean War.
So you had a great day?
Great day. Great day.
And where are you from, Ray?
Katyville.
Katyville. Where's this young lady here from? This your daughter? This your youngest daughter?
64 years in August for us. Yeah.
Goes by fast.
Our son Corky went with
That was your escort,
Yeah.
Corky?
Yeah. So how's everything going?
Everything's going good.
Good. Bob Fenn was her cousin.
Interviewed Bev Newell many, many years ago on wild edibles, right?
yes.
That's right.
If you want to stay married for 64 years, eat a lot of wild edibles. Is that your advice?
Oh yeah. We're still above the sod.
So what took you so long to decide to go?
Well, I always thought it was for the people that were in the front lines and stuff, and I wasn't in the front lines. But as I say, I talked to a lot of people and they say, you gotta go. So
You waited your turn then.
I took my turn, I tell you, and I really enjoyed it. It was an awesome, awesome day. Yes. Thanks to Scott and Bernie and all them. They do a fantastic job.
Yeah, it's just amazing, huh?
It is.
This is the 27th flight
I know
today.
it.
27 times they've done this, so
Yeah.
it's amazing.
Did you get a picture on the side of the bus of all the names of the ones that I went
Yeah,
before?
I tried to get it up. Yeah,
Isn't that something?
So Ray's name will be on there now, right?
It's already on.
Yes,
Yeah.
I mean, yes.
Take care.
It's a worthy thing, boy, for
Nice
people.
seeing you.
Good seeing you. All right. Everywhere you look, again, there's people, familiar faces, and we're getting closer to the actual time. And I said it was probably quarter of 7. It was actually around 6:30. I just kind of lost track of the time here. Didn't realize what time we pulled into the yard here.
Morning, everyone. Welcome to Honor Flight number 27. In our 7th year of operation now, we have now sent, by the end of today, 405 North Country veterans. Today's a very special day as far as Honor Flight's concerned. This flight is called the Paul Bulldog Dumas Honor Flight. Paul was a very active volunteer with the Honor Flight, with the DAV, and just about every veterans group you could ask for. And he was just one of those people that everybody loved. His commitment and dedication will never be forgotten. We got a few special guests here this morning. Paul's daughters, Debbie, Donna, and Diane, and granddaughter, Gabby, right over here. Thank you so much for coming down this morning. We appreciate that. As you can see, our Honor Flight veterans are all ready to fly. We think everything's in order. And you'll notice a very diverse group. We've got a group of veterans from a POW camp during World War II in Nazi Germany to the jungles of Vietnam, a war hero from the jungles of Vietnam. A wide range of age. And what we want to let everybody know is we are open to that wide range. Please, if you know of any veterans, get them signed up. Find somebody in a black coat, give them a name and a number. We'll get them signed up and get them on this honor flight. We believe every veteran deserves this day. So please help us out and send those names in. Thank you. Once again, we're blessed to have a great MC for our program. Please welcome Mr. Tom Halleck from Mountain Lake PBS.
Thank you, Barry. Good morning, everyone. Welcome. What a crowd. Wow. I think this may be one of the largest we have ever had. Thank you for coming this morning. We appreciate it. Let's begin with our national anthem. And to sing that, we are inviting Mallory Arnold to come up.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed as the twilight's last gleam? Whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave?
like to invite Boy Scout Troops 46 and 39 to join us for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Scout salute! I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ready, two!
Thank you very much. I'd like to introduce some of the dignitaries here for this morning's ceremony. Plattsburgh Mayor Colin Reed is here. Mayor, welcome. North Country Assemblyman Billy Jones is joining us this morning. Town of Plattsburgh Supervisor Michael Cashman. And former Assemblywoman Janet Dupre is here as well. We'll hear more from her in just a moment. It is now my privilege and honor to introduce Richard Keroy from Post 1619 and the Legion Riders who sponsored this flight this morning in honor of Paul Dumas. Mr. Keroy.
Thank you, appreciate it. Good morning, everybody. Please bear with me. I have never spoken before a crowd this big, so I'm going to be a little nervous, I swear. I spent some time trying to work on these remarks. I'm probably going to have to read them because, again, I'm a little nervous, so please bear with me. So let me start by saying, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Legion Riders from Fountain Brothers Post 1619, I want to welcome you to the Paul Bulldog Dumas Memorial Honor Flight. It is our honor to be here today to celebrate and pay tribute to Paul and our honored veterans, the brave men and women that are here to our right. I extend our gratitude to everybody for being here with us today. Our honored veterans here today, let me say that the pomp and circumstance of today's ceremony and the flight down to DC to review the memorials that were built in your honor are just a small way of saying thank you for your service and sacrifice to our country. It's been said many times that we owe you a debt of gratitude that we can never repay. For those who've never worn the cloth of our nation's freedom, the military uniform, let me try and give a little perspective into the service and sacrifice that our military members endure. First and foremost, many have answered our nation's call during times of our gravest moments. They place their lives on the line so Americans can remain free. Sometimes they jeopardize their safety and life to spread freedom and democracy around the world. They do this for people they don't know and who aren't their countrymen. I believe this elevates them from the status of being a hero to a superhero. At least that's my belief. Some have physical and emotional wounds that may never heal. They formed a bond of brotherhood with others, and many times their brothers never make it home. Each spent endless days, months, and even years away from the ones they love and cherish the most. They missed holidays, birthdays, anniversaries, and in some cases they even missed the birth of their own children. The veterans, they don't sacrifice alone. Their families share in that sacrifice. They just do it in different ways. Spouses have to handle everything on the home front without the support, counsel, and wisdom of their significant other when times are difficult. Many miles away is that gentle touch that provides a sense of comfort to them, letting them know that everything's going to be okay. Children miss out on the support and guidance of their father or mother. Mom or dad isn't there to share in the glory of that first home run in Little League, or the disappointment of striking out in that key ninth inning moment that may have been key to the game. Sometimes fathers miss that father-daughter dance. The examples could go on, but I think you all get my point. George S. Patton Jr. once said, the highest obligation and privilege of citizenship is that of bearing arms for one's country. Each of our honored veterans here today have fulfilled this obligation and are worthy of the highest privilege of American citizenship. Why are we, the American Legion Riders, here today to help send these patriots off on this solemn journey? To understand the answer, you've got to know something about the American Legion itself. Last March, the American Legion celebrated its centennial birthday. For 100 years, this organization has been in the business of advocating for the rights and benefits of our veterans and their families. The Legion's accomplishments include drafting the GI Bill, creating the U.S. Veterans Bureau, today known as the Department of Veterans Affairs, and fighting for veterans' rights in Capitol Hill and in state houses across the nation. In 1993, 2 Legionnaires from Garden City, Michigan, both longtime motorcycle enthusiasts, shared an idea to establish a group within the American Legion. We're Legionnaires, Sons of the American Legion, and auxiliary members who shared a love in riding would come together. Out of this simple idea was born the American Legion Rider. Today, the American Legion Riders have grown to nearly 800 chapters, can be found in nearly every state in the country and several locations overseas. Riders support the American Legion commitment to the community through sponsorship, participation in local charity events throughout the year. Furthermore, Legion Riders in all states have participated in escorting military units departing and returning from combat tours overseas. So it only makes sense that the American Legion Riders of Post 1619 are here to support the North Country Honor Flight events. It was here during the send-off ceremony for Honor Flight 21 on 30 September 2017 that we heard the story of this morning's Honor Flight namesake, Paul Dumas. For those who didn't know him, we learned that he was a veteran of the Korean War who felt a deep connection to his fellow veterans. As it was said earlier, Paul served as the commander of the Disabled American Veterans Post 179, where he was instrumental in the creation of Veterans Park, which is where we're at this morning. He was also a proud supporter and volunteer with the North Country Honor Flight. Over the years, Paul had been scheduled on numerous honor flights, 3 to be exact from what I've been told. 3 times Paul gave up that seat in order for some other veteran to be able to go to DC and get the honor that they deserved. Finally, Paul was scheduled one last time. He was supposed to be on Honor Flight 21. But unfortunately, I'm told that on the 24th of September, 2017, not quite 1 week before that flight, Paul passed away. Didn't get the chance to go. I have no doubt that in spirit, Paul has made the trip with each group of honored veterans that's gone before. I believe that in spirit, Paul will be with all of you today. And I believe Paul's spirit will be with every honor flight in the future as well. American Legion Riders are sponsoring Flight 27 in honor of Paul, and we pledge our commitment to continue support for this worthy cause. Thank you very much for your time and attention. I do appreciate it.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd just like to bring to everyone's attention how we make our funding for Post 1619 American Legion Riders to be able to do such an amazing event for these wonderful people that give us our freedom. We do on each year, the 1st of June, a event at the American Legion, which is in West Plattsburgh, called Concert on the Pond. A lot of people think that this is an event that's just for drinking and it's not a family event. That is not correct at all. This is a family event we do each and every year. We have things for children there. We have games. We have events for family members. And that is how we make our funding to make this possible. So if anyone is available on the 1st of June, there will be 7 live bands starting at noon, playing an hour each, and all these bands volunteer their time for this event, for the honor flight. So if anyone is free that day, West Plattsburgh American Legion, we would love to have you stop by. We do a $1 menu, all food's $1. All events and games are free to participate in. And on the 2nd, we also do a ride for the honor flight. It's called the Honor Flight Ride. It's always our next day after our event. So if you can support it, we want to thank you all very much, and thank you all for being here today.
Thank you, gentlemen. And now what has become a special part of this ceremony shortly after the terrorist attacks on September 11th, students in Penny Nyenhouse's 6th grade class at Morrisonville Elementary worked with local musician Roy Hurd on a song to express what the colors in the American flag symbolize to them. The students wrote this song that the 4th and 5th graders with the school chorus now perform at every honor flight ceremony. Please join me in welcoming the Morrisonville Elementary School Choir under the direction of music teacher Heidi Glover to perform their original song, Red, White, and Blue. Introduce the North Country Honor Flight's Director of Operations, Jenna Dubry.
Good morning. Every time we think our crowds can't get bigger, you prove us wrong. It's such a privilege for me to be given this opportunity, and I first want to thank our veterans, those who have served, those who are serving, and a special thanks and recognition to our 15 veterans who are going on today's flight. Thanks to the motorcycle escorts, law enforcement, and first responders, families, friends, the veterans in the crowd who have already been on honor flights, you'll know them by their jackets, and all of you in this amazing crowd who are here just because you care. Since our last flight in October of 2018, we have lost many of our veterans. I'm going to read the list of those and their flight numbers. Paul Gibo, Flight 1. Carl Hobbs, Flight 5. Benjamin Ransom, Flight 5. Joseph Kelly, Flight 6. Alton Bidek, Flight 9. James Rabidou, Flight 9. Norbert Yakey, Flight 12. Thomas Buckley, Flight 13. Bernhard Lacobetz, Flight 14. Jacobetz, Flight 14. Harold Pickering, Flight 14. Anthony Reel, Flight 16. Herman Stone, Flight 18. Opal McIntosh, Flight 19. Charles Skip Finnegan, Flight 20. Sabu Bogosian, Flight 22. Walter Bruska, Flight 22. Peter Jones, Flight 22. Robert Durango, Flight 23. William LePage, Flight 26. We also want to recognize 2 veterans who did not have the opportunity to participate on the flight, but upon their death, their families requested donations to honor flight. Ronald Licardi and James Wayne Cook. We have also just learned in the last 2 days of the death of Wayne Porter. Wayne is the person who refurbished the Osebo Valley school bus into the beautiful work of art that transports our veterans throughout all of the year, and we will forever be grateful for that. It's now my pleasure to introduce Gary Liberty to take over for the military honor.
At this time, Post 20 will deliver the playing of taps and the honor to our veterans. Please remove your hats. Military members may render the proper salute. Thank you.
now like to introduce Flight Leader Michael Cashman for an introduction of our veterans as they receive their travel orders. Michael is here with Bill Schwartz, Flight Leader.
Good morning. Come on, this is the North Country. Good morning. All right. Before I get started, I wanted to ask a question. For whom is this their first honor flight ceremony? Please raise your hand. That's amazing. Thank you for being here. It is an honor and a privilege of a lifetime to be able to serve in this role. But it's not about me, it's about our veterans. Both Bill and I have had the pleasure of being invited to these gentlemen and ladies' homes to talk with them, to understand their stories, to go through their memorabilia and their memories, to be able to better understand why they answered the call to serve. It struck really close to home for me because my sister-in-law is a Marine and my grandfather served during the Korean era. And as we continue to exchange stories, many of these folks, it was the first time that they opened the shoebox of memories with some of their family members as well. And they have some really unique opportunities as they get out to DC for the day to share those stories with their guardians and then to come back and share them with the rest of our community. For our community, as we continue to come out and show support for them, that's the way that we can answer our call to show our undying support and love and commitment to these American heroes, these patriots, these hometown heroes. So on behalf of the North Country Honor Flight program, before I read their bios, I want to thank them, all of the folks that have been inducted into the Fraternal Order of the North Country Honor Flight program, all veterans, and currently anyone that's serving. So give everyone a round of applause, please. At this time, I'd like to introduce Nancy Abramson, U.S. Navy, 1972 to 1975, Vietnam era. A seaman with a focus on communication assignments. She was stationed at California when she actually had the opportunity to meet Prince Charles. Later stationed at the U.S. Naval Air Facility in Naples, Italy. Nancy Abramson. Richard Becker, U.S. Army. 1952 to 1962 Cold War, private first class. Among some of his duties, driving, supply handler, stock clerk. He served with the 568th in Germany. He was an exceptional rifleman, and overall he said he would do it over again in a minute. Richard Becker. Richard Blanchard, U.S. Army Reserve, 1955 to 1980, Cold War era, Sergeant First Class. At the time he joined with 10 classmates, the principal was the company commander. Regularly traveled to Fort Drum and trained on a pay of just $1.65 per drill. Later worked at the Plattsburgh Air Force flight line until it shut down. Richard Blanchard. David Blix, U.S. Army. 1968 to 1996, Vietnam era / Desert Storm, Staff Sergeant, Senior Medical Lab Specialist. He was actually stationed at Walter Reed Army Medical. Basic training was in Louisiana. He referred to it as the hellhole of the Army. There he learned to sleep where you can and where you can. Still to this day, he's referenced as a quick sleeper. David Blix. Next up, David Brown, U.S. Army. 1966 to 1968, Vietnam era. Specialist. Duty assignments included infantry, driving officers, and attended tank school. He also participated in NATO exercises in Germany. Many folks locally know David for his incredible photos and his commitment to documenting the North Country Honor Flight events and program.
This time, we're glad that he's on our side of the lens. David Brown. Marvin Brown, U.S. Army. (1966 to 1967), Vietnam, private first class, stationed at Cu Chi, and things stood out among his memories was the 17-day trip by a boat from Hawaii to Vietnam. He also remembers withstanding artillery for over 18 hours. Marvin Brown. Longossier, U.S. Army. Hold on to your hats, folks. He joined the Civilian Conservation Corps in 1934, the National Guard on December 20th, 1940. He was a member of the 43rd Division and 172th Infantry Medical Detachment and served in the South Pacific. He was on board the USS Coolidge when it sank and received a Soldier's Medal for heroism at sea. He was later reassigned to infantry school at Fort Benning, Georgia, and shipped to Europe in August of 1944 with the 106th Infantry. At that time, a rifle platoon sergeant. He was captured on December 19th and imprisoned in Germany until his liberation in April 6, 1945. He was 26 at the time of capture and held the rank of tech sergeant. Longossier returned to Europe on April 24th, returned from Europe and was discharged from the Army on July 16th. He is 101. Michael Carabello, U.S. Air Force. 1969 to 1990, Vietnam era. Fire Protection Superintendent. Worth noting, he was originally drafted in the Army, but found his way out to the Air Force along with his twin brother. Now there's a funny story to be told here. At one point, Michael was picking up a gentleman who thought that he was his twin brother who was on another base at the time. There was much confusion. His final assignment was at the Plattsburgh Air Force Base, and later he would work with Jim King to help implement the 911 program for Clinton County. Michael Carabello. Myron Degenhardt, U.S. Navy, Seabees. 1943 to 1946, World War II Mechanist Mate 3rd Class. Took a ship meant for 800 personnel that had about 1,200 on it to the Zillion Islands. That trip took 23 days. Folks slept on the deck, whether it was raining or shining. Upon arrival, he mined coral and helped build the airfield that would serve as the launching point for the B-29 Superfortress, the Ellen Gay. He shared that he once had the opportunity to fly a training mission as a tail gunner on that B-29, and he also remembered a typhoon that blew everything away but the galley, and it still is something he dreams about to this day. Myron Degenhardt. Gary Durham, U.S. Army. (1959 to 1979), Cold War. Sergeant First Class. Blind in one eye, he tried to join the Marines first, but it was discovered. And the Army had a number of duties focused on telecommunication systems. He stated that much of his work was, quote, classified as defense communication. He described it as cookie assignments. As he put it, as you eat it, as soon as you ate it, it was gone, and you didn't have to think about it anymore. One thing he did share was that he was there during the building of the Berlin Wall. Gary Durham. Joseph Jacobs, U.S. Navy. (1943 to 1946), World War II, Petty Officer First Class. He was an engineer with the 7th Fleet. He participated in convoys in the Pacific and patrolling and looking for submarines. Joseph Jacobs. U.S. Navy. (1944 to 1946). Was drafted as a high school senior in 1944. He served as an electrician on the Navy LTS landing ship tank, participating in several Pacific landing operations. Later, he returned to Richmond High School to graduate with his class in 1947. Alexis Parent. 12th row, U.S. Army. 1957 to 1962, Cold War. Specialist, heavy equipment engineer. While in France, he was part of a team that built airfields. Another assignment had him filling in a mine that Hitler had created. He notes he lived the American dream. We spoke at length. He credits his training for helping him to secure a job when he got back, helping to build the New York State 87. Paul Europe. Robert Racine, U.S. Marine Corps. 1968 to 1970, Vietnam. Rifleman and technician in small arms. He received a sharpshooter's qualification badge. He was stationed at the White House at one point during his service. Robert shared among some of his fondest memories were the USO shows. Upon one of those occasions, he remembers dancing with Raquel Welch. Edsel Roberts, U.S. Army. 1967 to 1969, Vietnam era. Private, and was stationed in Thailand. Shared one story of him clearing out an area where they struck bamboo and ants fell from everywhere. Folks were just covered from head to toe. Much of his work was done with the dozer and also worked on the Freedom Highway. He also enjoyed being able to see Bob Hope. Edsel Roberts. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, North Country, I introduce to you Flight 27! Again, gentlemen and lady, we look forward to having a phenomenal trip with you today. Thank you for service. God bless you.
Thank you, Michael. We now would like to invite Mike Farrell to come up for the closing prayer.
Good morning, all. Thank you all for coming out this morning. And let me address a special thank you for those who are attending today who are under the age of 20. Why? Because it shows you care, that you appreciate and you respect the fact that they pledged their youth for the cause of liberty, for future generations, for you to enjoy. It is my guess that not one of these on Flight 27 figured that they could imagine this day. Decades in the making, it would come to fruition. Yet, today, a grateful community gets to say thank you for your sacrifices. Each of you lived to the standard in scriptures that says, greater love has no one than this, that one would lay his life down for his friends. Today, this is your day, Flight 27. We say thank you. Let's ask and petition God for protection over this day. Heavenly Father, we thank you for all who gather here today, especially those traveling together to D.C. We ask your protection to and from. Father, we ask the bonds of family, as Michael Cashman mentioned last night, have already begun to be nurtured and to take root and to grow with strength. Father, may there be joy where joy needs to be shared, and may there be tears where healing is needed. May they feel your touch through this day. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Thank you, Mike. We do want to mention that the 7th graders from Beekmantown Middle School are having their 5K run and their mile walk right at the end of this ceremony. It is happening and beginning right over here, we are told. You can still sign up if you would like, so right after the ceremony, head over to the registration table. We want to thank you for attending this morning. You are welcome to join the motorcade over to the airport. If you have never been part of that motorcade and experienced the first responders lining New York Road, you are in for a treat. It is incredible. You can watch the aircraft boarding at the airport and take off from a designated spot there in the parking lot. We also invite you and encourage you to welcome our veterans back home tonight. They will be returning to the airport at 8:30 tonight. It's an earlier time. It used to be 10:30. 8:30 is when they fly back into the airport. We hope you can make it and provide them with a nice, warm welcome home. Please join us now as Executive Secretary Pauline Stone is going to introduce our veterans for our Walk of Honor as they board the Honor Flight Bus.
Are you going to be going with?
No, not on.
Please join us for the Walk of Honor for our veterans going to Washington. Nancy Abrahamson, United States Navy.
As you can see, it was a hectic battle to get here before the long honor flight group entourage beat us here, but we made it. Not by a lot, but we made it. Somebody's going to count these bikers. Record-setting turnout today for the bikers. Just for the record, I'm not counting them. Fourth degree Grand Knights are always here, along with the American Legion Post 912 Color Guard.
We'll just grab two for now, just in case.
David Brown has been to just about all these honor flights with his camera, and now he's going on one, so nice to see him making the trip this time I should say. And let's see, the latest group is the October group, and not sure where they're going to put those names. Each one of those little yellow bombs. The list of the honor flights for the particular one. This is the latest one. They've only got a little more space. Not sure where they'll be putting the future ones when they fill up those final few spaces. Press Republican editor Suzanne Moore is also going on today's flight to record the events. Michael Cashman, the flight leader, David Brown. Oh, we made it. A safe landing.
Except my hat. One more big, there you go.
Have a good flight.
They won't let me fly the plane.
They'll let you sneak up the top.
Mike, of course, retired from Plattsburgh Air Force Base. And as mentioned, he was very instrumental with Jim King getting the E911 service up and running in Clinton County. Looks like that's it. Well, we're gonna follow the executive. Oh, Barry Finnegan.
Hey, Calvin.
So far, so good?
So far, so good.
Look at Mike. He's really taking charge
gosh.
here, isn't he? I don't know where
What a morning. Hey, this is unbelievable. Just a crowd that you never thought possible. Especially when, 27 flights ago when this whole thing got going.
Oh, amazing.
Who'd have thought it'd grow into this?
Were you able to send that text?
Colonel George is right there doing his thing here at the airport, making sure everybody is able to have all their paperwork in order so they can have a successful boarding. What we're going to be able to do is they head off on to have a time of their lives, a great adventure. All these veterans, they're so deserving, and they always feel so humbled when they go, but they all deserve this, and hopefully this honor flight will be long enough so that all deserving veterans in our area will be able to make this trip. And of course, it's not just World War II anymore, as we see, and we can't sign off without taking a look at it. Our friend Gordy Little, his name engraved in the back of the bus. So thanks for watching and supporting viewer-supported local television, Hometown Cable. We've been here for the 27th North Country Honor Flight. It's our 27th time we've covered this, and hopefully we'll be able to cover them far into the future. So if you appreciate Hometown Cable, we'd appreciate hearing from you. In the meantime, thank you for watching.